intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Welcome in, Star Trek Fleet Command fans, and today we're going to take a look at one of the most, if not the most look forward to arcs in STFC history. We've got part 1 of Wrath of Khan. You see we have new systems here right next to Dominion Space, and we're going to take a look at all the notes together. This is going to be a little bit of a longer episode. However, many of you have been waiting for this for quite some time, so let me know what you think after we get done. And we're going to start with what I think a lot of people will enjoy the most, quality of life updates, Q-Snap, and here we are. And again, if you like what you see, let me know by liking the video. It helps out a lot. So let's take a look at the very beginning of the patch notes to Wrath of Khan. Khan Noonien Singh has defied fate itself, breaking the universal constant by defeating James T. Kirk and banishing the crew of the USS Enterprise. Empowered by the forbidden temporal knowledge from the progenitor of a network, Khan and his augmented followers threaten galactic domination. Only your leadership can restore the balance. So there is a lot of lore this month that is very unique to our little multiverse here in Star Trek Fleet Command, including a slew of new refits that I personally find absolutely beautiful, and you're probably going to want to try to work on picking those up because they actually make every single one of your ships more efficient as you're trying to upgrade them, which is awesome. We'll talk about more of that in a bit, but how about just momentarily? You want to do a preview? We'll give you a little bit of a look-see. How about we start with an iconic one? That's going to be, of course, D7. You're going to see a lot of these because the hijacked D7 is actually the primary thing that's going to come chasing you in the new systems. But as you can see in the bottom right, increasing the Rotaran's base weapons damage by 1500% and base cost efficiency of parts, mats, and resources by 250. That will vary by which ship you're going after, so it's not just the epic such as the Rotaran, it's also the earlier things like the Enterprise. So, just something to keep in mind as you're going through this new content. New skins, and I personally think they look great. I've always loved the augment skins. Now we've got them for a lot of our FKR ships. But back in to the content here. Let's talk about quality of life updates. Independent archives. 2 new ships getting added in this month, with more coming here in the future. This month is going to be the Devore and the Fisha, helping wrapping up that Mining Monday loop, unless for those of you who want to win the leaderboard. That will, of course, remain. But for those of you who don't really care about that, this is going to help you finish those out and still allowing you to get goodies. A whole mastery system contained inside, similar to what we've seen before. This is going to help you, if you haven't already, max these 2 ships. My level 30 account, definitely looking forward to helping, speed up its Devore process because it does take a while to upgrade these ships and max them out, as you can see here. Cost efficiency, Latinum mining bonus, and protected cargo for all ships getting added in, which I'm sure many of you are going to enjoy. And of course, the Devore itself getting a cost efficiency bonus. Same thing with the Fisha here, also getting a concentrated Latinum bonus and an FKR reputation increase for everybody as you go along. So more ways to make that rep just be a little bit easier to obtain, and that's going to include in your mirror space grinding for you G4 and above players. But back over here, we've got more quality of life updates. Away team research has the away team refreshes returning, which was a mechanic that they had removed, but is now back. That doesn't mean that away teams will not automatically refresh once you completed them. That will still happen. This is simply another way to do that manually. All right, bulk building upgrades, something I'm very excited about that I cannot wait to extend to other things in the game. But for now, we've got it with just buildings, but the ability to go more than 1 level at a time. So to do that, you're gonna have a little button next to your base. Rotate over, see a little yellow button over there. You click it, and it'll take you as high as you can go until you hit a prerequisite. So for example, I can take this generator from 2 to 41 all in one go with all of the things calculated for me to go ahead and do that. Now, again, this will not be able to do it if there is a prerequisite blocking it, which I think is okay. And I'm hoping that that gets added in some point in the future. But we can't stick too long because a lot of things coming in. Onboarding experience, as I've been telling many of you, more and more players are joining and sticking with Star Trek Fleet Command these days. So you have an onboarding experience overhaul, including a new role being added to the game and a new chat section called the Cadet Corner, and new mentors getting added in. You can already tell yours truly has already requested to get this new role. These players are handpicked by the STFC team, by the way. So We've got new tutorials, a complete addition, and I would almost say an overhaul to the tutorial system to help new players adapt to the game as they're joining. And we'll cover individual videos on some of this because there's just so much content we got to keep moving. Loading screen tips. Now, I will say this one has like a subliminal message on repeat. Every transition screen reminds you that your player level is tied to your operations level. So to improve that, you must level up. A not so subtle reminder from Scopely that they want you to level up. Hey, it is what it is. We're getting a lot of good, so you can deal with a constant reminder, I guess. Excess artifact shard conversion is now automatic, which I have thought that should have been how it was in the very beginning, but an improvement. Missions, there are a lot getting added. 10 core missions for level 38 and above. You see Khan, you see that Enterprise there in the background, the hijacked Enterprise. You have 5 side missions for level 26 and above. Not going to take too much time, but let's move on down. Fleet Commander Khan Noonien Singh. For those that didn't know, we got a new Fleet Commander, everybody. And yes, he does have an activatable ability. And yes, he is covered in PvP abilities. This is probably going to be, if not already now, the best PvP Fleet Commander in the game. So for your arenas, your incursions, you're going to want him. How good is he? Well, give you a quick preview. We will have a specific video on this Fleet Commander going over his abilities, but the Wrath of Khan is going to massively increase your critical damage bonus. So if you're using Interceptor, Strike Team, Carol Freeman, Honor Guard Worth, Lorca, etc. type crews, very, very useful to give an extra boost to, but a lot of other goods, including an always-on Apex Shred. Poof. Does not work in base defense, sadly, but still maxing out at 100%. Look at this always-on You Task Me. Yeah, I gotta love that one. Combat Start, increased crit chance against players for 4 rounds. This one maxing out at 50%, which is going to bring most players to 100%. Yes, there's a lot of ways to negate that these days, but still more critical damage buffs and more throughout this tree. Going to be huge for you PvP players out there. If that's not really your game, no worries. Don't worry. Plenty of things for you to have as well. Back over here, Vision, Extremist Overseer dramatically boosts critical damage, hull breach, burning effects, and morale synergy. So yes, don't feel like just the critical guys are getting love here. Morale as well. And we'll move on to on-duty active abilities. When actively assigned, Khan provides strategic combat advantages for station defense, arena battles, node capturing, and battles against cloaked vessels. Away team researches we have covered previously in our preview. Don't want to spend too much time, but as you can see, lots added there. You're going to have to progress through the research stream to then get a lot of those things. And don't forget that Fleet Commander Khan, who we just looked at, has free-to-play sourcing via this system, though I don't expect anybody to be getting him month 1 free-to-play. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying that in a factual way. And there is a very small chance that a lucky person individual out there can full pull. But again, seems quite unlikely. But a reminder, to begin this process, you've got the brand new Priority 1 unlock assignments that you can start researching, and then you'll work and progress your way all the way down with your previous researches all being covered here at the very bottom with the new ones in rows 1 and 2 down to this column here. And you can see this also adds the Voyager crew, the Khan's favor, all of these different things. There's your Khan assignment quest down there. You see after your epic. So definitely going to be a while before everybody reaches down there. However, still worth noting. Back over to the notes, tons of stuff. Again, critical success. So we're not going to spend too much time there because I do have a specific video about this preview, and we will go over a full away team video with what to focus on in missions, what officers have the best traits, and how that works. But we got to hit the new hostiles because these are, no pun intended, bounty hunters you don't want to mess with. Why do I say that? Because they are strong. In fact, I went ahead and waited for the update to happen in the wee hours of the morning so that you could see how strong these are by me using my Enterprise D. Many of you saying, hey, Rev, I really want that ship. It's so good. Surely nothing is a struggle. Well, these new hostiles are not to be trifled with, especially with them having a unique ability. This is the Loot Goblin version. Look at this. The ship ability, Dilithium Destabilization. 30% chance at the start of combat to destabilize the player ship's warp core, instantly destroying it. And in true Rev Deuce fashion, I got it the first try. That's the Loot Goblin ship. So why is that valuable? Because the Loot Goblin has really good stuff. Same way that it works in the mirror space. If you find the survey ship out there with that little icon, lots of good loot, but you got to destroy it, and it could destroy you before you can even get a shot off. You also have the new bounty hunters, which, as you can see, with I wouldn't say this is not a great PvE crew. It's a loot PvE crew, but I went out there with a tier 11, just going into a level 60 system, and that bounty hunter swiped me pretty easily. So be on the lookout. These hostiles are tough, and you're going to have to work to fight them. Yes, you can beat them, but as you can see, they have ISO, they've got Apex Barrier, so look for something like Section 31 Giorgio with your Strange New World officer sets. You're just going to need to practice. Again, we'll have that in a full breakdown video of what to do. But the new loop is connected and situated over by Dominion spaces. I showed you at the beginning of this video, and you're going to have to work through those. But we have G3, G4, G5, and G6 variants to all this, which is determined as you go through the game and level up through the different systems. And these hostiles have various buffs, such as the Apex Barrier and the isolytic damage increase at the start of combat. So there's the loot goblins I was just talking about, in game referred to as the DY200 class, the Botany Bay. Challenging survey ships that carry all hijacked splicers, but vary based on grade. So the higher up you go, the better that loot goblin is. But again, the harder it is to destroy. So lots of buffs, lots of strong things. And then new feature that I'm actually excited about, redoable missions, repeatable intentionally with 5 difficulty tiers: Cadet, Ensign, Captain, Warlord, and Nightmare. For those of you who enjoy that type of content, you've got the first ever set of intentionally repeatable missions. And I'm very curious to see what people enjoy about them. So you have champion trophies you can acquire found in PvE chests as you fight these new hostiles. Using these, you can do the missions from the Augment Faction store after reaching the superior reputation rank. I'm going to be going after immediately. And then the mission will spawn a champion hostile, defeat it, and earn hijack insignia via the mission's reward. So with the insignia, you're going after Fleet Commander Con Shard. So another way to source that, Fleet Commander skill points, and then affinity for Joachim and augment reputation. So Research Tree has a full set of buffs thanks to the splicers, and then there's also a favor system. So not only are you getting a research extension, but the Augment Faction as well, complete overhaul, no longer empty for some of you. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that day has finally come. You thought you were done, but oh no. But there's a lot of favors as well. So you have not only the research tree, you have this as well, which is essentially 2 research trees this month. Lots of good stuff, but don't forget, there's a lot of great free-to-play items here, like the Tantalus Field. Yeah, that one. The one that everybody talks about being one of the most OP items in the game. Free-to-play path. Don't forget, there's a lot of free-to-play good stuff in here you're going to want to go after, so don't feel like it's too much. Feel like this is a great opportunity to catch up. Quantum Slipstream also in there. Yeah, the Glavin in there. A lot of these items that have been pay only for a while now getting a free-to-play path that everybody's going to want to work on long-term. So take a look. It's in a book. It's the faction store. Lots of goodies. All right, back off of here. Let's get back in here, trying to move as fast as we can. You see these bonus bundles for the progression bundles ordered around Joachim himself. And you can see that these bundles will provide projectile sourcing. Yeah. Dry Dock G sourcing. Free-to-play Dry Dock, everybody. Come on. You got to get excited about some of this. And then Epic Wrath of Khan credit bundles that give you the Quantum Slipstream, Book of Coast Emojin, the Glavinar artifact, the Khan Haley frequency. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. New avatar and frame. Then we saw the systems for the Augment expansion, so go check those out. And you can see reputation locks as well. So 120 is the Exile reputation. Augment Faction favors, lots of things. Efficiency bundles, lots of different accelerations for constructions. Really going to help you progress in the game further and further. Again, if you're wanting to move fast in the game, this is the new faction that may be the preeminent faction for helping you to accelerate your game growth. You see G5, G6 materials. You see early stuff, including up to Sigma, helping you improve your ability to afford that game. And then officer sourcing, as we've discussed previously, thanks to the away teams, we have officer sourcing for basically every officer group in this system. Whew. Moving on down. Don't want to miss everything. We got new officers. Epic Carol Marcus increases common, uncommon, rare, epic loot dropped by the new hijacked augment hijacked hostiles. I don't know why I said it like that. And then below deck ability, when you take hull damage from a non-armada hostile, increases shield mitigation of up to 25% for 1 round. Now, we will probably really want to use these new crews against these new hostiles. As you saw, they're difficult, but that doesn't mean you can't beat them. Simply think about things like Strange New Worlds with Apex Shred and Section 31 George Joe, or other builds that are ISO smack really hard, really fast. Rare Leonard McCoy increases armor, shield deflection, dodge by up to 5,000% in wave defense. And then a below deck ability combat start doing the same thing right there. So mitigation officer, which is quite odd, but hey, here we are. And then finally, Joaquin, officer ability when attacked by a player while on a survey ship, increase your apex barrier by 75,000. Yeah, you read that correctly, ladies and gentlemen. Battle miners are back. 75,000. That is a massive increase for one ship. Woof. All right, below deck, increase ISO defense by up to 500% against both hostiles and players. Expect to see this in PvP arenas a lot as a below deck officer. Absolutely insane bonuses. If anything, it might be too strong. I'm just being honest. Chaos Tech. Yep, got a new one. It's the Genesis device for the SS Revenant, increasing the shots for the new ship and increasing the ship hull health as well as the crit damage. Then there are the refits that we actually already talked about. New projectile, which is the Apex Shredder, which adds Apex Shred, gets non-armada hostiles by 10%, and a beefed up battle pass. Last but not least, there's a huge bug fix list, but I want to hit a couple of important ones, such as this, where the reroll could leave you waiting. Full refresh tasks now immediately appear, apparently, which is really, really nice. Improvements on missions, solo wave defense, lag, and kickouts have also apparently been worked on. So, things to check out. But because this video is going so long, I've got to wrap it up. Woo! Doggy, my Lanta. Hope you've enjoyed it. There is so much in month one here for Wrath of Khan, and I think for the most part, that's good. I apologize for this video being so long, but so much. Let me know what you think. We're going to go into it all month long. Live long and plunder. Stay safe for the Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next Art of Flickman video. As I asked at the very beginning, like helps out the channel so much. Catch you on the next one. If you have specific questions, hit me up. I'll help you out. Love you. See you then.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.